4 nighttime habits that become dangerous after 70, and why you should let them go. You know, the older we get, the more our nights begin to change. Sleep isn't as easy as it once was. Some of us lie there for what feels like forever, waiting for sleep to come. Others fall asleep the moment we settle in, but wake up again at the softest sound, a creak in the floor, a car passing outside, even just rolling over in bed. But what worries me the most isn't the trouble falling asleep. It's the little habits we do every night without thinking. Habits we've carried for years that quietly put stress on the heart, the blood pressure, and the blood vessels. They seem harmless until they're not. And after 70, when the body isn't as steady and strong as it used to be, even a small mistake can turn into something serious. That's why I wanted to sit down with you today and talk through 4 nighttime habits older folks should really let go of as soon as they can. Letting go of these habits doesn't just help you sleep more peacefully, it can lower your risk of stroke, heart attack, or other sudden problems while you're resting. They may sound like small things, but they can bring a whole lot of peace to your nights and a whole lot of strength to your mornings. Habit number 1 is eating dinner late, especially eating a heavy meal before bed. Many older folks fall into this without even realizing it. Some of us grew up eating late, and the habit just stayed with us. Others get caught up with grandkids, chores, or little things around the house. And by the time we finally sit down to eat, the sky's already dark. I know people who don't have dinner until 8 or 9 at night, and that meal is often their biggest one of the day. Fried foods, rich meats, something starchy, a hot bowl of soup. It might feel comforting, but at our age, the body simply can't handle all that late at night. When we were young, a late meal didn't mean much. The stomach was strong, the metabolism fast, and we bounced right back. But after 70, the digestive system slows down, and forcing it to work overtime late at night almost always leads to trouble. You finish eating, lie down too soon, and suddenly you're dealing with bloating, heartburn, that burning feeling in your chest, or air getting stuck in your throat. Some folks even feel like they can't breathe right until they sit up for a while. And here's something many people don't realize. When the stomach is overworked, the heart ends up working harder too. A full stomach presses upward when we lie down, pushing on the heart and limiting how deeply the lungs can expand. Your body is supposed to be resting and recovering at night, but instead, everything inside is straining to keep up with that big meal. It may look like you're asleep, but your insides are exhausted. In fact, many strokes and heart attacks that happen after midnight or near dawn are linked to this exact situation. Nighttime is when blood pressure becomes more unstable and when the body is stressed by a heavy late meal. Those blood vessels can't handle the pressure. Families often say they were sleeping just fine, not knowing the trouble started with dinner hours earlier. And of course, a heavy late meal makes sleep harder. You toss and turn, trying to find a comfort, but the discomfort follows you, no matter how you lie. Poor sleep leaves you tired and shaky the next morning, and that's when falls happen. Weak legs, foggy mind, unsteady steps. It all adds up. That's why it helps so much to have dinner earlier, around 5 or 6 if possible. I know not every family can do that, but the earlier, the better. Eating in the early evening gives your body a few hours to digest before you head to bed. By the time you lie down, the stomach is lighter, the heart isn't being squeezed, and the lungs can breathe freely. And the evening meal doesn't have to be heavy. Light foods, vegetables, soup, oatmeal, a bit of fish, beans. Those sit much easier. Avoid fried foods, greasy meats, or anything too heavy or sticky. Those things might be okay during the day, but at night, they're tough on an older body. Some folks say, a light meal won't keep me full. But the truth is, once you're past 70, you don't need a big dinner. What you really need is a peaceful night's sleep. Try this for just a week. Eat earlier and eat lighter, and you'll feel the difference yourself. You'll lie down feeling easier. You'll wake up less during the night, and the mornings will feel clearer and calmer. And beyond the comfort, you're also protecting your heart and your brain. At our age, guarding our peace at night is one of the best ways to guard our health in the long run. So, all in all, eating dinner on time, and keeping it light. Might seem like a small thing, but letting go of that late-night eating habit, that's one of the simplest, strongest ways to protect yourself. Habit number 2 is drinking too much water in the hour or two before bedtime. Drinking water is, of course, a good thing. But when you drink a lot of it right before going to bed, it becomes one of the biggest nighttime problems for older folks. Many people worry about getting thirsty overnight, so they finish the evening with a big glass of water, sometimes 2 or 3, thinking it'll help them sleep better. Nobody ever stops to think that it might cause trouble. But at our age, drinking that much water so close to bedtime usually ends up doing more harm than good. The bladder just isn't what it used to be. It doesn't hold as much, and it doesn't stay as strong. So even a little extra water late at night means getting up again and again to use the bathroom. When you're waking up 2, 3, or 4 times, you're not getting any real rest. Your sleep gets chopped up, and by the morning, you feel drained, foggy in the head, tired in the body, and unsteady on your feet. But the real danger isn't the lost sleep. It's having to get out of bed in the middle of the night. Think about it. It's dark, your eyes aren't fully open, your balance isn't what it used to be, and nighttime is when blood pressure tends to dip. The moment you stand up, the blood hasn't reached your brain yet, and everything spins for a second. It only takes one wobble, one misstep, and suddenly you're on the floor. And falling in the bathroom is about as dangerous as it gets. Slippery tiles, hard surfaces, nowhere to grab onto. One fall can break a hip or crack a bone, and once that happens, well, you know how hard it is to come back from that. Some folks never walk the same again. Some never regain their strength. One nighttime fall can change the whole course of the years ahead. There's something else people forget. Waking up suddenly over and over throws the heart and blood pressure out of rhythm. When you jerk awake, the heart speeds up. When you lie back down, it adjusts again. Do that all night long, and the heart ends up working far harder than it should. That's why some strokes and heart attacks happen when someone is getting up to use the bathroom or right after they lie back down. So the safest thing really is to avoid drinking a lot of water right before bed. Give yourself an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, between your last drink and the moment you turn in. That gives your body time to process everything and let you take that final bathroom trip before you settle in for the night. If your mouth gets dry at night, just take a tiny sip, just enough to wet your throat. A mouthful won't send you running back to the bathroom. And if you tend to sleep with your mouth open, you can keep a small bowl of water by the bed to keep the air from getting too dry. Or put a little coconut or sesame oil on your lips before bed. It helps more than you'd think. The real key is drinking enough water during the day, spreading it out from morning until late afternoon. Don't catch up on all your water at night. Our bodies don't handle that very well anymore, especially as we get older. So even though drinking lots of water before bed might sound harmless, it causes more trouble than most people realize. Give your body time to settle before you sleep, and your nights will go smoother, and your mornings will feel steadier. Protecting your sleep is just another way of protecting yourself. Habit number 3 is watching TV, scrolling on the phone, or taking in stressful news right before bed. You know, evenings are when most of us finally have a little quiet time. So we turn on the TV just to relax, or we scroll through the phone catching up on news, videos, comments, whatever pops up. It all seems harmless enough, but once we get older, those little nighttime habits can tangle up our sleep more than we realize. And the biggest trouble comes from the things we watch. A tense movie, a loud show, bad news, arguments, accidents, drama. Our minds react to all of it, even if we're sitting still on the couch. The heart speeds up a bit, the nerves tighten, and the brain stays alert long after the screen turns off. At this age, the nervous system is more sensitive. Even a little emotional excitement can keep the mind running when it should be winding down. We think we're relaxing, but the body isn't fooled. Then there's the blue light from the screen. Young people can tolerate it better, but older eyes get tired faster. That light tells the brain it's still daytime, so it doesn't release the chemicals that help us get sleepy. That's why so many folks lie in bed wide awake, staring at the ceiling. wondering why they can't fall asleep when just an hour earlier they were glued to a glowing screen. And once one night of sleep is ruined, the next day feels heavier. A few nights in a row, and everything starts slipping. The mood, the balance, the clarity. Many people think poor sleep is just an annoyance, but it's more than that. When we don't sleep deeply, the heart keeps working harder, the blood vessels don't get their rest, and by morning, the body feels shaky and tired. Blood pressure can rise and fall without warning. That's one reason so many strokes happen in the early morning hours. Because the night before, the body was overstimulated when it should have been resting. I know a lot of people say, I need a little TV to unwind, or I just check my phone for a few minutes. But the truth is, there are gentler ways to end the day without disturbing the night. Try turning everything off about an hour before bed. TV, phone, tablet, all of it. Set the devices aside and let the mind cool down. You don't need to do anything fancy. Just sit quietly. Rub your hands or legs a bit to warm up the body, or listen to something soft, a little music, the sound of rain, maybe some wind chimes. The body melts into it. If you like, take a few slow breaths, nothing complicated. Just inhale gently, exhale slowly, and let the shoulders drop. Do that for 5 or 6 minutes, and you'll feel the difference immediately. The mind settles, the heartbeat eases, and your eyes naturally get heavier. Plenty of older folks tell me, I tried it, and you're right. I fell asleep so much easier. It's simple, but it works. The less stimulation you feed the brain at night, the calmer the body becomes. And the calmer the body becomes, the better the sleep. At our age, that peace before bed matters more than we think. Turning off the screens an hour before bedtime gives the body a chance to settle down so the sleep can deepen. So really, that habit of watching TV or scrolling the phone before bed may feel harmless, but the older we get, the more it stirs up trouble for our sleep and our heart. Give yourself that quiet hour to unwind. No screens. No noise, no drama, and you'll sleep deeper, wake stronger, and feel far more steady the next day. A peaceful night's rest is one of the best gifts we can give ourselves as we grow older. Habit number 4 is going to bed with a heavy heart when you're upset, worried, or simply exhausted beyond your limit. You know, sleep is supposed to be the doorway that leads our body into a calmer place at the end of the day. But sometimes we carry so many thoughts with us, frustrations, worries, leftover tension, that the door doesn't open gently the way it should. Instead, the whole night feels unsettled. There are evenings when something still sits on your mind. Maybe you're irritated with someone. Maybe something small bothered you. Maybe you're sad. Maybe you're worried about your children, or your health, or the house. It all feels like it's just in your head. But the body hears every bit of it. The more the mind turns things over, the tighter the body gets. When we were young, we could shake things off more easily. But after 70, the heart and blood vessels don't handle stress the same way. Going to bed with anger or worry in your chest tells the body to release stress hormones, the very thing that raises nighttime blood pressure instead of letting it settle. And that's when trouble happens. Many strokes that occur late at night or early in the morning begin with long hours of tension the body never got a chance to let go of. And then there's going to bed when you're completely exhausted, truly worn out from the day. A lot of older folks stay busy, watching the grandkids, cooking, cleaning, moving around more than they should. By the time night comes, they fall asleep the moment they hit the pillow. Now, falling asleep quickly isn't always bad, but falling asleep because the body is overwhelmed, that's different. When the heart is already working too hard and the breathing becomes heavy and uneven, the sleep isn't deep and it isn't safe, especially for those who already have heart, lung, blood pressure, or diabetes issues. Some people even slip into episodes of sleep apnea without knowing it. Breathing that stops for a few seconds at a time, then starts again. It happens more often when the body is overtired. Every pause means less oxygen to the heart and the brain. A younger body can push through, but at our age, it can become risky. That's why the most important part of bedtime isn't the moment you lie down. It's the moment you let the mind and the body soften. Before getting into bed, try sitting quietly for a few minutes. Take a slow breath in, then let it out gently. Do that a few times. You'll feel everything loosen up a little. And if something is weighing on your heart, tell yourself, I'll think about this in the morning. Tonight is for resting. If you're frustrated with someone, let it drop for the night. Carrying anger into sleep never hurts anyone but yourself. Some folks like to warm their hands or rub their chest lightly to calm the heartbeat. Others prefer soft music, a bit of piano, rain sounds, or wind through the trees. And if your thoughts won't stop circling, you can write them down on a small piece of paper, like you're leaving them there for the night, instead of taking them under the covers. It's simple, but it works. And above all, don't climb into bed when your mind is racing or your body feels overheated from the day. Nighttime is for recovery, not for pushing through more tension. Slow yourself down first. Take 2 or 3 deep breaths. Let the shoulders drop. Let the thoughts settle. Then lie down. The sleep that follows will be steadier, safer, and far more refreshing. In the end, peace is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves in our later years. Sleep in peace, and the morning comes with strength. Go to bed angry, worried, or exhausted, and the whole night becomes a struggle. Take care of your heart, lighten your mind, and don't carry a heavy load into your sleep, my friend. It's one of the kindest things you can do for yourself, my friend. These 4 nighttime habits we've talked about, they're things most of us have been doing our whole lives. When we were young, when the stomach was strong, the heart was sturdy, and the body bounced back without much fuss, none of it seemed to matter. We ate late. We drank water whenever we felt like it. We watched TV until our eyes got heavy, and we went to bed carrying whatever was on our mind. It all felt perfectly normal back then. But after 70, the body changes in ways we don't always notice. What used to be harmless becomes a burden. One small habit, done at the wrong time or in the wrong way, can make the whole night harder than it needs to be. A late dinner here, a little too much water there, just 5 more minutes of TV, a bit of worry or frustration carried under the covers. They all seem like nothing. But at our age, every one of those habits makes the heart work harder, tightens the blood vessels, and throws off the breath. The body isn't as thick and strong as it once was. It gets tired more easily, and it shouldn't have to struggle through the night while we sleep. And that's why sleep, real, peaceful, steady sleep, becomes one of the most important things we have. A night of deep rest can lift the whole next day. A night of broken sleep can weigh down the whole week. The good news is, we don't need anything fancy. We don't need special equipment or complicated routines, just a little more care with those small habits. Eat a bit earlier, drink earlier in the evening, turn off the screen a little sooner. Give the mind time to settle before lying down. Those small changes make a big difference. The night becomes calmer, the sleep becomes deeper, and the morning feels lighter. And every peaceful night helps keep the heart steady, keeps the blood pressure gentle, and keeps the body going strong for longer. In the end, taking care of these little habits is really just a way of taking care of ourselves, a way of protecting the quiet, the safety, and the peace we've earned over a lifetime. And that kind of peace is worth every bit of effort. We've spent a lot of time talking about nighttime habits, haven't we? But the truth is, a peaceful night doesn't begin at bedtime. It begins with the way we live our day. The body keeps track of everything we do, from morning until evening, and it carries all of that into the night with us. Many older folks ask me, I'm so careful at night, so why do I still wake up tired? Why does my back ache? Why do I feel dizzy for no reason? And the answer is simple. Even when we take good care of ourselves in the evening, a lot of us still hold on to certain daytime habits we've had all our lives. They felt harmless when we were young, but they slowly strain the body once we're past 70. When we were younger, a little rushing, a little lifting, a little skipping meals or water, none of it seemed to matter. But now, the body reacts more quickly. One small imbalance during the day, and we feel it before we know it. That's why we can't focus on bedtime alone. The entire day has to be gentle if we want the night to be restful. A lot of the heaviness or fatigue we feel doesn't come from illness. It comes from the little things we repeat every day without realizing how much they wear us down. If you pay attention, you'll notice the signs. Maybe your feet tingle a bit in the morning. Maybe your steps slow down in the afternoon. Maybe your back stiffens after sitting too long. Maybe skipping water just one day makes your head feel light. Or maybe stopping your walks for a couple of days makes your legs feel heavier. All of those are the body's way of quietly saying, "Take another look. I need a bit more care." And that's exactly what we'll explore next time in the next video. You and I will take a closer look at the daytime habits many older adults do out of routine. Simple things that don't seem like much, but slowly drain strength over time. The good news is, once we make small adjustments, the improvements show up quickly. Steadier steps, a looser back, deeper breathing, and a clearer mind. When we treat the day with more care, the night naturally follows. And when the night is calm, we wake up lighter, clearer, and better prepared for another peaceful day ahead. Habit number 1 is sitting for too long, staying in the same position without moving. You know, my friend. During the day, we often get caught up in little things. We sit down to watch some television, or we settle into a chair while looking after the grandkids, or we fold laundry, or we simply sit on the porch to get a bit of fresh air. They're all ordinary things we've done our whole lives. But once we're past 70, the body doesn't tolerate long stretches of sitting the way it used to. When we stay in one spot too long, the blood doesn't move as well. The legs start to tingle, the knees stiffen, and the moment we try to stand up, we feel unsteady. Some folks even get dizzy when they change position. At first, it's just a mild heaviness or a little numbness, but the longer we sit, the harder it becomes to get up. After 70, the blood vessels in the legs and lower back aren't as strong, and poor circulation shows up quickly when we stay still too long. The biggest danger comes when we stand up suddenly after sitting for a long stretch. The blood pressure can shift fast. The blood hasn't reached the brain yet, and everything spins for a moment. One small wobble, one slip on the floor, one bump into a table, and a fall happens before we know it. And as we all understand too well, a fall at our age can change everything. Broken bones, long hospital stays, months of recovery. Sometimes never quite returning to the strength we once had. The point is simple. Once we reach our 70s, the body can't handle long periods of stillness. When we were young, we could sit for hours without a problem. But now, the joints, the muscles, and the circulation all need gentle movement to stay comfortable. That's why it helps to stand up every 30 or 40 minutes. You don't need to go far. Just wiggle your ankles a bit, roll your shoulders, stretch your arms, or take a few steps around the room. These tiny movements work wonders. They wake up the circulation, loosen the joints, and clear the fog from the mind. Some folks tell me, "I can't get up. I'm watching my show. I'll miss something." Well, you don't need a long break. Just stand up for a moment during a quiet scene, or step away during a commercial. Anything is better than sitting still for hours. As we grow older, the body needs to be reminded to stay awake and alive during the day. Every time we stand, move a little, or stretch. It's like giving the heart a small favor, giving the legs a bit of strength, and giving the mind a breath of fresh air. And if you keep this habit for even a few days, you'll feel the difference right away. No more pins and needles when standing, steadier steps, and a lighter feeling overall. Habit number 2 is not drinking enough water during the day. You know, a lot of older folks go through the whole morning, sometimes half the day, without taking more than a sip or two. We get busy with little things, looking after the grandkids, cleaning up around the house, doing chores here and there. Before we know it, hours have passed, and we haven't had a real drink of water. Some people even avoid drinking because they don't want to use the bathroom too often. But the older we get, the more that kind of habit works against us. After 70, the sense of thirst isn't as strong as it used to be. The mouth may not feel dry, the throat may not feel scratchy, but the inside of the body is still running low. That's when we start feeling sluggish for no reason, tired, foggy, a little unsteady when we stand up. Some days, people drink only a few small sips and wonder why. By evening, the whole body feels worn out. Thirst isn't just about dry lips. When we don't get enough water, the legs feel weak. The head feels light. And standing up too quickly makes the world spin. Blood pressure drops more easily. The brain gets less blood flow. And digestion slows down. Food doesn't move as well. Constipation shows up. The belly feels heavy. And when the body is low on water, the blood thickens, which forces the heart to work harder. And at our age, the heart needs all the help it can get. Some folks get out of breath doing even the smallest tasks. It's not always weakness. It's often dehydration that's been building up all day long. A lot of people say, if I'm not thirsty, I don't need to drink. But that doesn't hold true anymore. Once we're older, the body doesn't send clear signals the way it used to. We have to help it out. The easiest fix is to spread water throughout the whole day. Keep a small cup nearby, not a big one. Just something easy. And take a sip every so often. Small amounts, but steady. The body absorbs it better, and it doesn't send you running to the bathroom all the time. And if you're someone who avoids drinking because you're afraid of needing the restroom, drinking slowly and evenly from morning to late afternoon actually helps a lot. What you don't want is skipping water and then drinking a bunch at once. Stick to this simple habit for just a few days, and you'll notice the difference immediately. Your body feels lighter. Your head feels clearer. Your skin isn't as dry, and digestion becomes smoother. Even your energy picks up. At this stage of life, the body is a little like an old, well-loved tree. It doesn't need a flood of water, but it does need steady, gentle watering. Just a little throughout the day makes all the difference. Habit number 3 is staying indoors all day and getting very little sunlight. Something a lot of older folks fall into without meaning to. You know how it goes. The sun feels too bright, so we stay inside. If it's cloudy or rainy, we worry about catching a chill. A little wind makes us nervous too. Before we realize it, the doors stay closed, the curtains stay drawn, and we spend day after day inside the same 4 walls. But once we're past 70, staying indoors too much doesn't do the body any favors. At this age, we actually need natural light to help the body understand when it's daytime and when it's nighttime. Without enough sunlight, the whole system gets confused. We feel tired even after resting. Sleep becomes lighter, and the mind feels dull. Our bones weaken faster too, because without sunlight, the body struggles to use calcium the right way. Some folks tell me they take calcium every day, but still feel their bones getting weaker. Well, without sunlight, the body can't do much with it. And staying cooped up inside affects the mind as much as the body. You may not feel sad or upset, but there's a kind of heaviness that settles in. Every day starts to look the same. Every season feels the same. That lack of change can slowly wear us down without us even noticing. Morning sunlight, and even late afternoon sunlight, is softer than you'd think. It's not harsh. 10 or 15 minutes is enough. You don't even have to leave your property. Stand on the porch. Step into the yard. Feel a bit of fresh air on your face. Let your skin catch a little light. Move your legs just a bit while you're out there. The body wakes up in a way it simply can't indoors. You don't need heavy exercise or long walks. Just stepping outside, breathing in the morning air, looking at the trees, the grass, the sky. Taking a few light steps. That alone makes a difference. Day by day, you'll feel less sluggish. Your mood brightens, and your sleep at night becomes more restful. At this stage of life, the body doesn't ask for much. A little light, a little air, a little gentle movement, and it rewards you more than you'd expect. Here's the thing about habit number 4. A lot of older folks don't even realize they're doing it. They think they're staying active because they walk around the house all day. But most of that walking is really just moving from the kitchen to the bedroom, or from the chair to the hallway and back again. It feels like activity, but it doesn't give the body what it truly needs. Once we're past 70, the legs weaken faster than we expect if we don't use them in the right way. Without real movement, the muscles shrink, the knees grow shaky, and the balance becomes unsteady. Then all it takes is a small stumble on a rug or a slick bathroom floor. And suddenly, we're on the ground. And as you know, A fall at this age is never just a fall. It hurts. The recovery is slow. And sometimes life never fully returns to the way it used to be. It isn't only the legs that weaken. The heart weakens too. When we barely move, the heart beats slower and shallower. Sitting feels fine. But the moment we stand up, the world tilts because the blood doesn't reach the brain quickly enough. That's why so many older adults feel dizzy or unsteady on their feet. And here's something many people overlook. When we don't move, the brain doesn't get enough blood either. Less blood to the brain means memory slips more easily. Conversations are harder to follow, and simple tasks start to feel confusing. Sometimes it's not age causing those things. It's the lack of movement. But the hopeful part is this. Movement at this age doesn't have to be hard at all. It just needs to be steady and consistent. 5 to 10 minutes in the morning or afternoon is enough to make a difference. Gentle stretches, rolling the shoulders, turning the ankles, or taking slow steps around the yard or the living room are all helpful. Nothing complicated and nothing fast. If you feel strong enough, you can try standing up and sitting down 5 to 10 times, slowly, and using the chair for support. It's not a workout. It's just a reminder to your legs that they still have a job to do. Walking around the house, stepping out onto the porch, or strolling around the yard, any of these count, as long as the body is truly moving. Because the truth is, when we sit too much, the body weakens far quicker than we realize. Nobody at this age needs to run or jump. But a little movement every day makes a world of difference. Your steps become steadier, your breathing grows deeper, and your mind stays clearer. Just a few minutes of real movement, done daily, can make the whole day sit easier on the body. Habit number 5 is something I see in so many older folks. Eating far too little, or eating meals that don't have enough real nutrition in them. You hear people say, "I'm old now. I don't need much food," and then every meal becomes a small bowl of rice, or a little soup, or whatever goes down easiest. Some skip protein, some avoid fats completely, some eat only light porridge or noodles. It feels like eating light to stay healthy, but at our age, eating too lightly can weaken the body faster than we realize. After 70, the body doesn't absorb nutrients the way it used to. Even when you do eat, it doesn't hold on to much. So if a meal is mostly starch, no real protein, not enough vegetables, no healthy fats, the strength fades quickly. Muscles shrink. The legs lose power. The back gets tired. And the skin becomes thinner. Standing up makes you dizzy. Walking feels shaky. And people often wonder, why am I so weak? When the answer is simply that the body has nothing strong to run on. Protein is the first thing many older adults stop eating, but it's the thing they need the most. Protein from fish, chicken, eggs, beans. That's what keeps the muscles firm and the legs steady. Without it, the body loses strength fast. And those healthy fats, the ones from nuts, seeds, olive oil, and fish, they help the brain stay sharp and the heart stay steady. Vegetables and fiber keep digestion smooth, help prevent constipation, and keep the belly from feeling heavy and bloated. Meals at this age don't need to be big, they just need to be balanced. A small piece of fish, half an egg, a spoonful of beans, a bowl of cooked greens, a sprinkle of nuts. That's already a solid meal. No need to load the plate. Just give the body what it truly needs. And if eating a full meal feels like too much, don't force it. Simply divide food into smaller portions throughout the day. Eat less at a time, but eat more often. The body absorbs it better, the stomach stays comfortable, and you don't feel weighed down. What matters most is avoiding meals made of nothing but starch, rice, noodles, bread, crackers, with nothing else alongside. At this age, those meals leave you feeling weak all day long. But when you adjust your eating just a little, a bit more protein here, a bit more healthy fat there, something wonderful happens. You start walking steadier, your mind feels clearer, your face looks brighter, and at night, you sleep deeper and wake up more refreshed. In older age, the body doesn't need large meals. It needs the right meals, small, gentle, but full of the things that keep you standing strong for another day. Well, after looking through these daytime habits together, something becomes very clear. Our strength in older age doesn't disappear all at once. It slips away quietly through the small things. Sitting too long, drinking too little water, staying indoors day after day, barely moving, or eating just enough to get by. They seem harmless, but over time, they take more from us than we realize. The truth is, our bodies past 70 don't demand anything big. They simply ask for small kindnesses throughout the day. A few minutes of movement, a bit of sunlight, steady water. Simple foods with enough nourishment. And when we give the body those little things, it gives us so much back. Steadier legs, easier breathing, clearer thinking, and nights that finally feel restful again. A peaceful night doesn't begin at bedtime. It begins the moment we wake up, with the way we treat ourselves from morning to evening. Gentler days bring gentler nights, and gentler nights bring better mornings. Mornings where you stand up without wobbling, breathe without effort, and feel ready for another day. My friend, you deserve that kind of day. You deserve nights that don't trouble your heart and mornings that don't weigh you down. And every little change, even the smallest, brings you closer to that life. If today's talk brought you comfort or gave you something useful to think about, I'd be grateful if you stayed with us here on Elderly Heart Talks. Feel free to tap like, hit subscribe, or share this video with someone who might need it. Sometimes, one simple reminder can make a whole day easier for somebody else. Thank you for spending your time here. I hope your steps stay steady, your breath stays calm, and tonight, your sleep comes easy and peaceful. We'll talk again soon.